All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that we will. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. All right, as you can see right here, you have a tweet from Twitter. It says it's by the United States Space Force at Space Force DOD. All right, it says the first hashtag Space Force utility uniform name tapes have touched down in the Pentagon. All right, and as you can see, this is a sneak peek of what it looks like. All right, I'll try to zoom in from where it is. But as you can see, hey, this is prophecy. This is prophecy being fulfilled right before our very eyes. And just before I did the lesson, I looked up the authenticity of it. And hey, it seems about right, man. And look when the Space Force was founded. All right, December 20th, 2019. All right, that was only a couple days ago, man. All right, just when Trump and NATO they wanted to start their Space Force command. Hey, here it is, man. They founded it December 20th, 2019. Okay, so this is prophecy right before our eyes, Akim. Okay, and look, it says Commander-in-Chief President Donald Trump. All right, so there we go, man. All right, we are here. We are at the end. We are at the end, man. Okay, it says keep U.S. Space Force key points for establishment fundamentally transform our approach from a combat support function to a warfighting domain. Establish the U.S. Space Force as a separate military service inside the Department of the Air Force, maximizing warfighting capacity and advocacy for space while minimizing bureaucracy. It says outpace future threats by re-energizing the Defense Department's space development culture to rapidly build, deploy, operate, and innovate at low cost, bring a full-time operational focus to defend our vital national interests in space. Now, you see, the main point about that is the last point. All right, bring a full-time operational focus to defend our vital national interests in space. Why? Because our Lord, Yahweh Shai, he is going to be coming from outer space to the earth to make war upon the heathen, man. Okay? So this is all prophecy right here, man. All right? This is all prophecy. Now let's go ahead and I want to get some scriptures, man. Okay? Because this is prophecy, man. All right? Let's go ahead and get this real quick. This is Isaiah 62:1. It says, Salakia. Is that what I wanted? Let me see. Okay, Isaiah 64:1. Salakia. That was what I wanted. It says, oh, that thou wouldest rend the heavens, that thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence. Right. And now when it says, oh, that thou wouldest rend the heavens, that means, oh, that thou wouldest crack them clouds, man. Crack the clouds, rend the heavens. To rend means to tear, or to rip apart. So we're waiting for the Lord to crack them clouds. All right, it says that the mountains might flow down at thy presence. The mountains is representing governments, man. All right, and that top government will be that beast, okay? The NATO and the EU, and America rides upon that beast, and America is also a part of NATO, okay? Verse 2, as when the melting fire burneth, the fire causeth the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. When thou didst terrible things which we looked not for, thou camest down, the mountains flow down at thy presence. That's right, because these nations, the chariots, which is so-called UFOs, they're known as the strangeness of our salvation, man. All right, so these nations, they're not looking for the Lord to come back in them UFOs, and they're certainly as hell not looking for a so-called black man to crack them clouds neither, man. All right, verse 4, it says, for since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O Most High, besides thee, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. All right, right, and that was also reiterated by the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians 2:9. It says, but as it is written, I have not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which the Most High hath prepared for them that love him. Okay? And what does it mean to love the Lord? By way of keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. All right? Now, let's go ahead and get some more scriptures on that, man, because the Lord is coming back with them UFOs to execute judgment, man. All right? And he's going to fight Esau and the rest of them nations who want to take part in that. All right? And, you know, they're going to have war in the heavens, man. Okay? In the upper atmosphere. This is Isaiah 66:15. It says, "For behold, the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire." Okay? "For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, shall be many." All right? So that's the point, man. Okay? That's the point. You know, the Lord, this is prophecy being fulfilled right before our very eyes, man. All right, these nations, they're trying to set up to fight our Lord, man, because he's going to be coming back in the air to gather his elect. Now, let's go ahead and get that real quick. All right. Let's get this real quick. All right. Because the Lord is going to come back in the air to gather his elect, man. So this is a beautiful times we're in, man. All right. We are in the end. Okay. 1 Thessalonians 4 and verse 16, it says, I'll start at verse 15. Spirit moved me to start at verse 15. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 15. "For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep." Right. Why? Because all the ones who died in this faith of ours, okay, they're in the spirit realm with the Heavenly Father, all right? But they're going to be the ones getting raised up first, all right? And if we are still alive at that time, all right, Lord, will we be of the elect? If we're of the elect and we're still alive at that time, we're going to meet them in the air, okay? So the dead in Yahushua will be raised up first. This is 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. It says, "For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout." Right. And what is that shout? Okay. Let's go ahead and get it real quick. That shout is when the Lord tells us in the Hebrew, "Come up hither," all right, gathering us into them chariots. Revelation 18 and 4, it says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Okay, right. So the Lord's going to tell us, come up hither, man. Okay, now Revelation 18 and 4 is not talking about leaving Babylon with a passport, It's not even talking about leaving Babylon spiritually, okay? It's talking about literally leaving Babylon by the Lord telling us to come up hither into the chariots, commanding us to come up there into the chariots, man. Let's get another one. Revelation 11, and I'll just go straight to the point. Revelation 11 and 11, "And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai entered into them." Those 3 days and a half is symbolic of 350 years. And we know this is true because you had Jake with the whole 400-year doctrine prophecy. But when you bounce back 75 years, okay, that's when you had the 350-year mark. It was over, So the Lord put the spirit back on us. And he raised up Abba Bivens, man, to usher in the truth, to bring the hearts of the fathers back to the son and the sons back to the fathers, roughly paraphrasing, And he ushered in the truth, okay? And as well, the Lord said in the book of Obadiah, "Lord's will I get it," because that also goes with the lesson. When he sets his nest amongst the stars, thence will the Lord bring him down, man. And Esau has been setting his nest among the stars a little bit before Abba Bivens came on the scene, man. Okay, and ever since then, he's been going down, all right? And as you can see now, he's just building his nest even bigger amongst the stars by way of setting up this Space Force. But guess what, man? The Lord is going to cast them down, man, all right? Now, let me go ahead and keep reading. It says, "And they stood upon their feet," which represents all these camps you see around the world waking up, pushing the word, all right? It says, "And great fear fell upon them which saw them," right, which is starting first and foremost with these elites, man, all right? The elites, those are the ones who are in great fear because they see Jake waking up, man, because they know when we get our power back, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, they know it's through for them, man. All right, let me get this scripture real quick. This is 1 Samuel 4 and 5. It says, when the ark of the covenant of the Lord Yahweh came into the camp, all Israel shouted with a great shout, so that the earth rang again. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, what meaneth the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? And they understood that the ark of the Lord Yahweh was coming to the camp, and the Philistines were afraid, for they said, the Most High is come into the camp. And they said, woe unto us, for there hath not been such a thing heretofore. All right, woe unto us, who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods, which is talking about the Israelites. These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. All right, so there you go, man. So they know when we get our power back, it's through for them. These heathen know that, okay? Even back then and still to this very day. All right, Revelation 11 and 12, it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Right, what is that cloud? Let's go ahead and get that real quick. Let's see what that cloud was. All right, Psalms chapter 104 and verse 3. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the water, who maketh the clouds his chariot. Okay, so that cloud is the Lord's chariot, which is the so-called UFOs, which can literally take on the form of a cloud, or they can look like a pillar of fire, which is what you know as a so-called star. They could look like a star, but really it's a UFO, all right? Or so-called UFO. It says, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, all right? Now, let's go ahead and get back to Revelation. Okay, Revelation 11 and 12, it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them, all right? So, yeah, so they're going to see us getting beamed up in them chariots, man. Okay, it says, and their enemies beheld us. That goes into Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And that's what we're doing now. When we go out on the highways and byways, we stand in great boldness, man. Okay? And it says, and have made no account of his labors. All right, it says when they, and that's what they do. They don't make any account of our labors, man. All right, the scriptures, as we'll read on, they perceive us to be fools. Verse 2, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they look for, right? Because they're not going to be expecting UFOs to beam up the elect of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Verse 3, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life as madness and his end to be without honor. All right, and that's a part of them not making any account of our labors, man. All right, verse 5, how is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? Okay, right. Let's go back to 1 Thessalonians. Bringing it all full circle. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with the shout, and with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, which we explained what that was, to meet the Lord in the air. So shall we ever be with the Lord, wherefore comfort one another with these words. That's right. So the Lord is going to gather his elect in the air, man. All right, let's get another scripture proving that. Matthew 24, starting at verse 30, it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds from one end of heaven to the other. That's right, because Israel is scattered amongst all nations along with the elect. Okay? That's why in Revelation, the 7th chapter, you said you had the great multitude, which is out of every kindred, nation, and tongue, because you have Israelites in every nation, man. Okay? And when you go into that word kindred in the Greek, it's phule, which means basically someone of the patriarch, someone of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. So in other words, an Israelite. Okay? Now, I want to hit a few more points. All right? This is Isaiah 26 and verse 20. It says, Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. All right. Now, what are we going to be hiding from? Let's go to Revelation 15 and verse 2. Okay. Revelation 15 and 2. Actually, I'll start at verse 1. Revelation 15 and 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. What does those 7 last plagues represent? That represents complete destruction. And that ultimate 7th last plague is the ICBM nuclear missiles. Let's go ahead and get this real quick. This is Job chapter 5. Start at verse 17. It says, Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. For he maketh sore and bindeth up, he woundeth, and his hands make hold. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. All right, yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Why? Because in that 7th last plague, guess what? We'll be in those chariots, hiding ourselves, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. Why will it be a little moment? Because according to Revelation 18, it says Babylon shall be destroyed in 1 hour, man. Let's go ahead and get that real quick. All right, Revelation chapter 18, and I believe there's a verse. I'll start at verse 8. All right, Salakia. Revelation 18 and verse 8. It says, Therefore shall her plagues come in 1 day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh power who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off, for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So these people only got 60 minutes. It's going to take 60 minutes for America to be destroyed, man. All right? Now, let's go back to Isaiah 26. That's why it says, hide thyself for a little moment. All right. Isaiah 26 and 20. Come, my people, enter down into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. Now, what is that indignation? Those ICBM nuclear missiles, man. Okay, now let's go back to Revelation 15 and we'll go back to Job, Lord willing. Revelation 15 and 1. And I saw another heaven, Aslakia. And I saw in heaven great and marvelous, Aslakia. I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. The 7th complete plague is those ICBM nuclear missiles. Now, that's why I went to the book of Job. I wanted to touch up on that point again. Job 5 and verse 19, it says, He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Right, man. All right, and what's a part of those 6 troubles? Jacob's trouble. Okay, Jacob's trouble is a part of those 6 troubles as well, man. All right, it says, yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Why? Because we will be up in them chariots, man. Okay? Lord willing, we are the elect. Verse 20, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. Okay? So that 7th trouble is those ICBM nuclear missiles. And the Lord is going to protect us from that. Why? Because we are in this truth, man. All right, and we are of the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we are of the elect, man. Okay, if we endure to the end, we got a chance of salvation. Psalms 91 and 1, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. What is the secret place of the Most High? The secret place of the Most High is this knowledge, man. All right, Isaiah chapter 4, verse 6, and there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, for a covert from storm and from rain. That's the secret place of the Most High. That's the knowledge that we have, man. Okay? That's why the scriptures say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And the scriptures also tell you how we take on wisdom as a defense, man. All right? And that's in Ecclesiastes, but it also tells you that in the book of Sirach. Let's see if I can get there real quick. All right. Sirach, the 6th chapter. And I'll start at verse 24. It says, and put thy feet into her fetters, and thy neck into her chain. Bow down thy shoulder, and bear her, and be not grieved with her bonds. Right, we are prisoners of hope. You know, we are servants of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's what that's talking about. You know, putting our feet in her fetters and thy neck into her chains. You know, we're basically slaves to this ministry, But I'd rather be a slave to this ministry than to be a slave to this damn devil. Okay? It says, come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. Why? It says, for at the last thou shalt find her rest, and that shall be turned to thy joy. Then shall her fetters be a strong defense for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. Okay, so there's a reward for this quote unquote servitude, man. All right, which really that's our whole duty in life, to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. It tells you that in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, man. Let's get there real quick. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Right. Now let's go back to Psalms 91. All right. Psalms 91 and 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence, which is those missiles, man. All right, ultimately. Verse 4, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Right? What is a shield and what is a buckler? It's a defense. Okay, those are defense mechanisms. All right. A buckler is pretty much like a small shield, and a shield, we already know what a shield is, man. Okay. And it says his feathers. All right. Let's go ahead and get that real quick. That's them chariots, man. Psalm 68 and 13. It says, though ye have lying among the pots, yet ye shall be as the wings of a dove, covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. That's right, man. Which is those chariots, man. Okay, so that's going into, we're going to rags to riches. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and get this. Psalms 91 and Psalms 91 and verse 4, it says, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings thou shalt trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Right. The arrow that flieth by day is those missiles, man. The missiles are known as arrows. Okay, you could read about that in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. All right, verse 6, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. That destruction that wasteth at noonday is those missiles, man. Okay, noonday, it represents the highest point of the sun, and that's when the Lord is going to take Esau out in the noon time of his rulership. All right, like when Esau sets up his new world order, when he's at the height of his rulership, okay, that's when the Lord is going to destroy him. Job 20 and 23, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Right. So when you establish your new world order, when you set up that mark of the beast, when you're at the height of your rulership, okay, noonday, all right, that's when the Lord is going to destroy you devils, man. It says he shall flee from the iron weapon, which is that. What is that talking about? The missiles. It says the bow of steel shall strike him through. All right. Going back to the arrows, man. What do you put an arrow in? You put it in a bow. All right. So the bows represents the silo, and the arrows is the missiles. And a military code name for a stolen missile is broken arrow, man. All right, that's why the scriptures say Esau is wiser than Daniel. Verse 25, it says, it is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. All right, the glittering sword, that's the missiles, man. All right, because when the missiles shoot out, they glitter like a star. All right, it says, all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. Right, a fire not blown, talking about the missiles. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle, man. All right, that's the point. So the Lord is going to destroy these devils at the height of their rulership. All right, Amos chapter 8 and verse 9, and it shall come to pass that it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh power, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. Right, okay, because the Lord is going to destroy Esau at the height of his rulership, man. Okay, as we were going into. Now let's go ahead and go back to Isaiah 26, all right? Because we had to touch on the point about the chambers. Isaiah 26 and 20, it says, "Come, my people, enter down into thy chambers, shut thy doors about thee, hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpast. For behold, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain." Right, man. Okay, so what does it mean? It says the Lord cometh out of his place. All right, the Lord is going to come from the spirit realm, all right, which is in the heavens, to the earth. Okay, that's what that's going into, man. You know. Now let's go ahead, and the part where it says the earth shall also disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain. That's talking about all Esau's shameful spewing is being brought up, man. All right, and all his dead bodies and stuff like that. You know, it's all being exposed, man. Okay, Revelation 15 and 1. "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High," which is those missiles, that complete destruction. Verse 2, "And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High." Right, and the sea of glass represents the firmament. Mingled with fire is talking about the lake of fire, which is coming by the way of them ICBM nuclear missiles, man. Okay, now let's go ahead and get this, because these devils, they're going to try to fight against Yahweh Shai. All right, Revelation 12, starting at verse 7, it says, "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels." Now, who is the dragon? Okay, the dragon is not the spiritual demon Satan. The dragon is the beast, okay, that fourth beast in particular. And who is that fourth beast? The Roman Empire. And what is the Roman Empire back in the reincarnation? The NATO and the EU. The NATO, or North Atlantic Treaty Organization, was set up by a treaty called the Treaty of Rome. Okay, is that a coincidence? I think not. Verse 8, "And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven." Right, because there's going to literally be a war in heaven, talking about a war in the upper atmosphere. Okay, that's why Trump is setting up this Space Force. And who did he set it up by? By way of NATO, which is that same dragon we're reading about right now. So this is prophecy being fulfilled right before our face. Verse 9, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." Right, talking about Esau. All right, because Esau is coming with the works of Satan, man. All right, and that's who Esau deals with, the spiritual demon Satan. That's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan as in he's going to be cast out of heaven. No, okay? There was no war in heaven, and then Satan took 1/3 of the angels and rebelled against the Most High. That is not biblical, okay? Because Satan obeys the will of the Most High. In James 2 and 19, and in 2 Ezra 8, starting at verse 21, it says how that the angels tremble and fear before the Most High, okay? Revelation 12 and 10, it says, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night." Right, and who was that accuser? Esau, Edom, man. Okay, let's go ahead and prove that. All right, Psalms chapter 50, starting at verse 16, it says, "But unto the wicked the Most High saith, What hast thou to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentedst with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, thy tongue frameth deceit." How does he give his mouth to evil? How does his tongue frame deceit? By way of his blasphemies, man. All right? And a part of him blaspheming is him trying to say the Lord is a so-called white man, you know? And a part of him blaspheming as well is saying that we're terrorists, man. All right? Verse 20, "Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son." He's the accuser of our brethren, man. Okay? "These things hast thou done." It says it right there. "Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thy slanderest thine own mother's son." It was not Esau and Jacob come from the same mother and father, man. Okay? But that's what these devils do. They slander their own mother's son, man. All right? And slandering your brother is wicked. Okay? Slandering in general is wicked. All right? Much less your own brother. Okay? Now, I want to touch on that just for a second. You know, I didn't really expect to be long-winded, but the Spirit does what it does, man. All right. Um, This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 7:12. It says, devise not a lie against thy brother, neither do the like to thy friend. Use not to make any manner of lie, for the custom thereof is not good. All right. And that's what Esau does. His custom is lying, man. All right. Ever since the garden. Okay. Because he was that serpent, man. Now, let's go ahead and go back to Revelation. I want to get this real quick. Revelation 17, I'll start at verse 14. Oh, matter of fact, let me start at dang, this whole chapter's fire, but let me go ahead and start at verse 12. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Okay, matter of fact, no. Let's go ahead and start at verse 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her. Did we not just read about that beast in Revelation, the 12th chapter? So it's speaking about that same beast. The angel's about to break it down to us what that beast is. It says, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. There you go. So the 7 heads of that beast represent 7 governments, seven mountains, man. All right. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. What are the 5 are fallen? All right, the Greeks, okay, the Germanian Minor, Germanian Major, all right, the Gauls, okay, and Salakia. And I think there's one more. I think it's like the Spanish, okay, and 1 is talking about the Roman Empire at that current time. During 96 AD, when the book of Revelation was written, all right, that was that one that was is. And it says the other is not yet come, talking about the British Empire, Britannica. It says, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. All right, there you go. All right, because Britain had a short rule. Verse 11, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. Right, meaning that America is the 8th, okay, and it is of the 7th. It came out of that 7th head, which is Britannica, Britain. All right, America was born from Britain, man. Okay, it says, and goeth into perdition, meaning goeth into destruction. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. All right, which represents the modern, which that time it was 10 vassal states, okay, to the Roman Empire. But today it's the NATO. It's actually the EU. All right. And the EU started off with 10 kingdoms. Okay. Now, keep reading on. It says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called faithful and chosen. Slakia are called chosen and faithful. So there you go, man. It just told you who the beast was, okay, and how it's going to make war with the Lamb. So that right there proves to you that that beast is not the spiritual demon Satan, man. Okay? There you go, man. You know? Now let's go ahead and get this scripture, and I'll probably close out with this one. Lord's will. All right, 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Okay, why? Because the scriptures tell you about how Yahushua, he's coming with the clouds. In Revelation, the 1st chapter, the 7th verse, it says, all kindreds shall wail because of him. Because the Lord's coming back to do damage, man. Okay? It says,
Verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. That's talking about those laser beams from the missiles, man. Okay? In verse 5, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Talking about the fathership Yahushua is coming back in, man. It's going to be so big, it was likened unto a mountain. Okay? It says, but I would have, verse 8, and Ezra said it was so big that he couldn't see where it began or where it ended. All right? Verse 8, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath. And out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. What is that talking about? That's talking about the laser beams coming out of them chariots, man. Okay? Verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up everyone, so that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Okay, there you go. So these nations, they're going to try to fight against the Lord. Let's go ahead and get that. This is 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 25. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. The same is he whom the Most High, the highest, hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. Okay? Talking about Yahushua. That's who the Most High has kept for a great season. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, right? Because he's coming back with them chariots, okay? That's why it's going to be an astonishment, all right? And he's also, they're not going to expect a so-called black man cracking them clouds, okay? Verse 31, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another, right? Because you're going to have a lot of wars going on as well before Yahushua comes back. And the part where it says one realm against another is talking about a realm between the physical realm and the spiritual realm, all right? That's why we read in Isaiah 26, the Lord cometh out of his place, man. All right, he's coming out of the spiritual realm to judge the earth. 2nd Ezra 13 and 32. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I shewed thee before. And then shall my son, who is Yahushua, he is the son of the Most High Yahweh. It says, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, because World War III is going to be going on as well when Yahushua comes back. All right, and it says, an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. Going back to the Space Force, man. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and be shewed to all men, and being prepared and builded like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto me. All right, which is going into those laser beams, man. So there will be a war in heaven by way of them ICBM, by way of them chariots, okay? And the Lord is also going to send off those ICBM nuclear missiles as well, man. You know, so Lord's will, this video was edifying. I want to go ahead and give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone that we well, peace and blessings to the elect of Israel, and Abad Babal, Shalom, Habatham to the elect.